Nobody likes it when an insurance carrier denies their insurance claim. That's especially true when it comes to general liability insurance. And we noticed that general liability insurance policies have one of the higher denial rates of all types of insurance policies out there. In today's video, I'm going to give you the top 5 reasons why a general liability insurance company may deny your general liability claim. First and foremost, what is a general liability insurance policy? Well, a general liability policy is a standard policy issued to business organizations to protect them against bodily injury and property damage liability arising out of premise, operations, products, and personal and advertising injury. Most businesses, you'll notice, carry a general liability policy. It's one of the more standard policies out there. It'll help protect many different types of businesses across many different types of industries, and it's one that we issue widely here at our insurance agency. General liability forms tend to be long, lots of conditions, exclusions, and endorsements. So all of that is going to come into play when it comes to determining whether a specific liability claim is covered by the general liability policy. Now, today I hope to give you some resources and some ways that you could potentially stay away from getting a general liability denial by giving you the top 5 reasons why we see claims being denied. Number 5, for falsifying information on a general liability application. Luckily, we haven't seen this happen too often, but it does happen at times. And if a claim comes in against a general liability carrier and they start going back and looking at your operations compared to what was provided to them on the application, they could void your coverage and deny the claim. I'm going to tell you a story about a contractor, and this goes years back, about a policy that we wrote from a gentleman who submitted his application. We went off that application and sent it out to the insurance companies. They provided a policy and a price based on the information given to them in that application. When the claim came against them, they started realizing, 1 + 1 didn't equal 2. Things didn't quite make sense. The type of work he was doing wasn't advised to them. So they actually voided 4 years of coverage, voided all the insurance under terms of the Department of Insurance, refunded every single dollar of premium they collected because they were not properly advised of what the construction work was truly going to be. Again, I haven't seen it happen too often, but it can happen. And we do see adjusters checking back on applications to make sure that everything was answered accurately with valid information. If you hire a professional that completes those applications for you year to year, make sure you read every single question and make sure that the information that's listed is accurate and up to date. Number 4 reason why we see general liability claims get denied is because of lack of contracts or lack of paperwork or protection as required by their general liability company at the time that the policy is issued. 2 common industries where this happens or could happen most is 1, landlords, and 2, general contractors or any contractor that might hire subcontractors or others to perform work on their behalf. You have to make sure you have proper contractual language, indemnification clauses, hold harmless agreements, and additional insured certificates when it comes time to submit that claim, especially if the bodily injury or property damage came against you because of the work performed or the exposure created by your tenant or your subcontractor. Super, super important. Number 3 is the exclusions in the policy. You have to read and you have to understand where you're protected as a business and where you're not. There are no general liability policies in the world that are going to protect a business for every single operation or every single thing that comes against them. General liability policies by nature have exclusions written straight into the policy. We tell every single client, read your policy, understand the language. A general liability policy is a contract. When a claim comes against the carrier, they're going to read the contract and they're going to determine whether the contract or the language triggers to provide protection for their insured. So read your policy, understand the language, understand the exclusions. If you see any exclusions in the policy that you think may be a detriment to your business, a lot of times you can read the language and you'll say, the person that wrote this policy doesn't understand my operation because there's clearly language in here that's going to omit coverage where I need it. Have to understand your policy, have to understand the contract, and you must read it. The number 2 reason why we see general liability claims denied, and this is one that is well within your control, timely reporting of the claim to the insurance company. It's horrible when a claim gets denied because it wasn't reported in time to the insurance company. Now, most policies don't have specific time periods that you have to report, but it has to be reasonable. If you talk to claims adjusters, and if you go back on my Team Business podcast, you'll find episodes in there where I have interviewed high-level adjusters. They will tell you that early reporting is the biggest key for them to properly handle a claim, properly take care and make sure their client is protected and that they're protected as an insurance company. That even goes for cases where you might not know for sure if a claim is going to come against you. It's still important that you notify your insurance professional, who in turn has to notify the insurance company. They can prepare, they can get ahead of it, do their research ahead of time so that if it does come against them, they know where they're going to go with it. I've seen cases where clients have told us a year or 2 after the situation took place. That's too late for an insurance company to get ahead of it and to properly adjust your claim. So don't let that happen to you. And the number one reason why we see claim denials take place, people feel the need to handle the matter on their own before they get the insurance company involved and then go back to the insurance company for repayment of what they paid out under a liability claim. It's not going to happen. Insurance companies do appreciate when you mitigate a loss. If something were to get worse and worse, maybe you stop it from getting worse, but don't take care of the entire situation. Pay it all out of pocket, get all the repairs done, get all the injuries paid for, and then turn it into your carrier. They still have to investigate the claim to figure out if you were even liable. And if they find that you weren't, and now you paid out all this damage and all this injury out of pocket, they're not going to pay for it because they're not liable. You weren't liable. So let them get involved. Insurance companies are experts in this stuff. They see this stuff all the time, every single day, multiple times a day. So there's the top 5 reasons why we see general liability claims getting denied. Remember, please hit that little like button. You can comment down below any questions you might have and hit that little notification bell so that you're notified. Thanks again for your time today. Take care.